Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey ladies, welcome back. This is your host Nava, and I hope that y'all made it through the holidays. I was just chilling in peace by myself at my house, so I was stress free, but I hope y'all survived it. Today is December 28th, so we are heading into the new year, and I hope some of y'all are contemplating arming yourselves and practicing your Second Amendment rights because we are about to get a new president, and I don't think things will be very pretty next year. So, and I also hope y'all are sharing these videos because I do feel like he and Elon are going to come for our right to say what we want to say online, our freedom of speech. I feel like they're already doing that. I know they're doing it with my channel. They're like, I have gotten no activity on my channel for like days now, and I know that they're messing with me. My subscribers are telling me that it's hard for them to find my channel, and they can't see their comments and stuff like that. I talk about it all the time. But yeah, y'all, let's talk about this. The 4B movement, it has gotten kind of silent lately. I don't think this is because it is dying out. I believe that women are becoming wiser and realizing that we're being too vocal. And women who are choosing to do 4B, they are probably just moving in silence right now. But people are still, having, their input and what they think it's about and what they think that the women in the 4B should do instead. And, we'll always have like the mammies out there saying not all, saying we shouldn't separate from our black men. And this is not a black women's fight. And even though black women are out here dying every 4.5 hours, black femicide, we don't even hear much about that anymore, but it's still happening. We're seeing it. We see the news. We see all the stories. The woman in Africa that just passed away, that was like helping all of the kids in Africa. The lady that just got, I don't know if she was black, the lady on the subway that got set on fire. She might have been. It's just, we see these stories all the time. And most of the time, the person that kills us looks like us. So black women, more than anybody, has a reason to go 4B. Black women are known to be left single mothers the most. So if anybody should be 4B, it should be black women. For y'all that don't know, I am married, so I'm not 4B, but please believe me, y'all, if I ever divorce, I'll probably be one of the leaders. I'll be up there with the leaders, standing on the podium, giving the speech. I really would. It's people talking about y'all want to commit, what's that? Where you kill out the entire race and all the people die. I can't think of the word right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Like nobody's worried about like a race dying out right now. Well, we know one group of men are worried, but it shouldn't be black women. We should not care about a race of people dying out. We should not, because we have been disrespected like for centuries. We have not been taken care of. We have been just at the bottom. So we shouldn't be worried about that right now. But let's get into these videos and I will come back after this.
Okay, this is a PSA announcement for the women out here in America that are convinced that this whole 4B movement is for them and is the way to go. I'm just going to give you some warnings and some predictions and some things, some thoughts to think about so that you can be sure that this is what you want to do. Number one, thank you, because what you're doing for me as a gay man is you're increasing my dating pool, because there are these heterosexual men who have always been curious or have secretly always been gay or bisexual and just have never had the courage to, be honest about it or to come out or try it or anything. And with y'all just refusing to date these men, y'all just pushing them over to our side of the street. And thank you so much, because then once they come over and they give us a try, they realize that we're a whole vibe. We're going to take good care of them. We're going to treat them like the kings that they are. We're going to be sure that we uphold them and approve of them being actually masculine and being men and showing up the way that men do. And then they're going to marry us. And then you're going to regret that, because you're going to realize that not all the men out here in these streets hate women, and that all the men out here that have voted for Trump hate women. And it'll be too late because they will have married the normal gays who are showing them a good time. 1. 2, some of you women ain't got the heads to be shaving your heads like that. Some of y'all, your hair was covering a multitude of sins, and now you're kind of just left out there in the open. You're going to regret that. 3, from a spiritual perspective, you are setting some spiritual laws in motion so that when you do eventually change your mind, because unless you are bisexual and are not trying to be bisexual because it's a new trend and you've never really been attracted to women like that, and you've always been attracted to men, once you start ovulating, you will be back and you'll realize that you're coming right back to men. And what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to find them because now your heads are shaved. They're going to know that you're crazy, delusional, and just like easily impressionable and following random fads when you don't even know the history and the backstory of it and doesn't really apply to you. But if you do attract men, you will be attracting into your experience the most narcissistic, unhealthy, abusive men into your experience because that is the energy that you have put out into the universe. Number 4, if you are convinced that you're not going to get married and you're not going to have children, you're not going to conceive, you will regret that too. You're setting spiritual things in motion. And when you change your mind, because you will, it's going to be extremely hard, if not impossible, for you to actually conceive a child when you change your mind and decide that you want to because you have set it in motion that you don't want it and that it's not going to serve a purpose. So the spirit realm and your body are going to listen to what you say well past the point that you mean it. So just some things to reconsider before you go all in on this whole 4B thing, because I don't think it's going to turn out well.
Y'all, I cannot for the life of me figure out why gay men and mammies and why do other women and gay men care so much? Why do they care so much? He's telling us all this like we don't know that a lot of black men are gay already. A lot of women have already caught them being gay in their relationships. We know, we see Atlanta, we see San Francisco, we see, like, we're not surprised. And like, there's this huge misconception that these women that are shaving their heads off and saying they're 4B, that's like part of 4B. That is not part of 4B. That's just what they choose to do. And I'm pretty sure if they change their mind, they can grow their hair back. There's a lot of like videos of cancer patients getting mad at the women in 4B because they think this is what it's about. It's not. It's really not. Like, women who are serious about 4B are serious. They are done. And the women that are not in 4B or serious about it, they're going to be running to it later. There, I promise you there are. I'm seeing videos already of women that changed their mind after ignoring the reasons, the actual reasons that women are joining 4B. It's not just like surface level reasons. These reasons are just huge reasons, and they're trying to reset the globe. They're trying to reset patriarchy. It has nothing to do with shaving your hair. It has nothing to do with hating men. It has everything to do with knowing that women need to be with other women in community to be able to survive and thrive in this world, to be able to help each other and raise our kids together, to not be left single mothers, to not be able to be out here like just stressed and depressed with having to do it all alone in these homes with these men that are not helping. It's so much huger than what people are thinking it is. And I just really want women that are in 4B to just stay focused. I know it's not going to be everybody. These people seem to think that the women that are in it are wanting like all the women to join it. No, as a matter of fact, the women that are in it are separating themselves from women who think that they're crazy. They think that it's not going to work. They don't want to talk to you either. They'll look at you like they look at men, like you're an enemy and you are not going to help to get where they need to be. So let's finish up the rest of these videos and I'll be right back.
Marriage with a male. I need you to listen to this. So one of my friends on here, Cindy Noir, asked a very insightful question. She asked, what are we telling the women that are still wishing to be married or have a male partnership or companionship? What are we telling them when there is like such a scarcity of the men that are emotionally available, emotionally intelligent, and not emotionally suppressed? What are we telling them? Because, some women are single and happy and prefer to keep it that way. And some women are celibate, things like that. So what are we telling women that are desiring something different than that actually want a man? And here's my answer. I'll try to keep it brief. I learned over 10 years ago when I was like in my late 20s, like 29, that there was a shortage of men lacking the internal qualities that were really important to me that I was missing and lacking in all of my previous relationships that were just really toxic. And not to mention, my own father didn't even possess these qualities either. So what's a girl to do when she has this list of things that are required, like the emotional capacity to be in a relationship with, the man having emotional intelligence, the man not being emotionally suppressed, and also still being a provider, and also still being ambitious, and also still being able to be like the head of the household, being able to lead. What is a girl to do? Number one thing I would say is always center yourself, regardless if you want a man or don't, regardless if you want marriage or not, no matter what. Even if you want marriage with a male, even if you want a partnership, even and not be married to a man, I need for all ladies to always center themselves because the patriarchy is already against us. So I need for you to center your damn self no matter what. Even when you get into a relationship, even when you get married, I need you to still be about you. And what will happen is that when you do find a man, when a man finds you, he will pretty much jump on board in that, and he'll know what your standards are and what you expect. So he won't show up, or you won't be so quick to accept just anything. And plus, you're this way not losing yourself in any man, in any relationship, in any marriage. Even a good marriage, you still cannot lose yourself ever. So you always need to center yourself and always have something going for yourself no matter what. That is my top suggestion.
To this question of what do you tell the women that still want to be in relationships and want to be married, I am going to say you don't tell them anything. You don't tell them anything because they're not going to listen to you because they have to find out on their own. Some women have to hit their head over and over and over again before they realize what the actual truth is. Because if they still think it's not all men, they have to figure it out on their own. You can tell them to center themselves, they can try, but once they get into a relationship, the group of men that we have today, they are going to make that very hard for them to do because they are very needy. They want your attention. They just latch on to you and they need you like a little kid, like a child. But those women, I wouldn't talk to them. I would just let them find out. They're going to hate you. They're literally going to hate you. And that's why I say you have to be in community with like-minded women. Women that are talking about the same stuff you're talking about. They believe the same things you believe. If not, you're going to clash. You are not going to be able to be friends with a woman that is just so stuck on men. Like you can't tell her anything about her man, about any man, because it's going to always be not all men. And you don't want that. It's going to stress you out. So I wouldn't recommend being friends with anyone that is not on the same mental level as you are. So yeah, don't do that.
Okay, so I don't think most American women are going to be subscribing to the 4B movement, especially not like the baddies in Korea are doing it. Okay, nah. And this is for a number of different reasons that we could discuss, but here's what I'm hoping will happen. I'm hoping that more women will start to center themselves, prioritize themselves, put their safety first when they're dealing with men. A lot of us are watching too many romance movies. We are pedestalizing men and losing sight of who they really are to us. Simply just locking the hell in and focusing on us only is going to be a step in the right direction.
Your 4B movement is not going to work. And it's not going to work because, you didn't try. But it's not going to work because the spirit of weakness and male-centeredness permeates deep within a lot of women. All it takes is a "hey boo" text from your favorite eater and you're going to throw it away. Mind you, in a low-stakes relationship Many women don't have a handle on the man that they're with. They're not on the same page with the man that they're with. They're not even able to free themselves from the shackles of a situationship. And you expect them to claw their way out of the grips of the patriarchy. Y'all need to be so fucking for real. Unfortunately, many of them will have to go through more stuff. They're going to have to experience the blunt of the baton to really understand and to really grasp and to then come to the conclusion that they need to take action. And by the time then, it's going to be too late. I think we're underestimating how many people genuinely feel safe with the men that they're with, and they genuinely believe that it's never going to be them. They truly think that it's not going to be them needing an abortion. They think that it's not going to be them needing health care. They think it's not going to be them needing FAFSA. They think it's not going to be them needing any kind of public aid or food stamps. And they genuinely think that the tariffs are going to somehow make America great. So yeah, take off your cape. Don't tell them anything about the 4B movement, because the people that are most willing to participate in it, unfortunately, we do not have the numbers.
I'd like to propose an amendment to the 4B movement. And that amendment will state that there will be no going back and forth with men in our comments on social media. Y'all have to understand that men like this, their sole purpose in life is to harvest energy from women. And if they can't harvest your energy through labor, through having their kids, through having relations with them and relationships with them, they're going to be harvesting your energy via your emotions. And that's exactly what you're giving them when you're going back and forth with them in your comments. Just stop. Learn how to block, delete, ignore, whatever you have to do to protect your energy, because they're coming for it. But the good thing is they're like vampires, okay? They can't come in unless they're invited. So stop inviting them by arguing with them in your comments, because it's like you offering up your energy on a silver platter. Like, they're literally men who sit up and troll the internet just so they can get a reaction out of you every single day. Stop letting them.
I agree with this 100%. I see women doing it all the time, and I have been guilty of it myself. But one thing I don't do is go back and forth with them. I'll say what I got to say, and I won't let them respond. I'll block them right after I say what I got to say, and I'll just block them because I'm not giving them too much of my time. But yeah, on my channel, if you are in my comments, I have never had a man. Well, a few times I've had men in my comments, and I just kind of block them right away, especially if they're saying something crazy. If they're not for women and believe in everything that we're fighting for, I will block them. It's very few men that will get on your pages and actually agree and be able to recognize that what you're saying is true and that women really are in danger and always have been. Very few men. It's like I say it all the time. I've only found 3 on YouTube. 3. And that's nothing. That's really nothing. If it's hard to find them on YouTube, it's like YouTube is huge. But yeah, y'all have to stop going back and forth and trying to explain stuff to them and to the women who don't understand. Because the women are kind of like them. They'll suck your energy out too. I've seen it. It's like nails on a chalkboard when I hear a woman standing up for the system that is hurting so many people, not just women. It's not just hurting women. It's hurting men too. But most of them just are not smart enough to realize all of the ways that they're being hurt in the system. They shouldn't have to be in the home and being financially responsible for everything. It's not supposed to be that way. It's an easier way to do things. And if women were in charge, I think everything would go back to the way that it's supposed to be. Y'all see a lot of them hate it. They hate having to care for entire families. And when they do, not just black people, it's white women too. When they do have to pay for like everything, they resent that the woman is not doing as much, and they feel like you're doing nothing. Like even if you're working and you're taking care of all the, you're taking care of everything, they still resent it. They don't want to do it. And I feel like women need to just stop forcing them into these situations, seeing that a lot of men are struggling to do it. Like, period. That's all I have to say, period.
So after I've had the opportunity to get my emotions out and really assess how I feel and what I feel like communities should be doing going forward post this election, I've had some time to reflect on the 4B movement. And I saw this creator, her name is Nia Ola, or at Shaking Seats. I'm going to tag her in the description because I absolutely love her content and she is spitting every single time. She brought up a really, really good point for black women. I feel like black women, us participating in the 4B movement, I mean, yeah, we can do it, for sure, but it's not necessarily going to benefit us in a way. The loss of reproductive rights are horrible for everyone, but I feel like we need to assess why reproductive rights are being taken.
Reproductive rights are being taken because men are running the government and they don't feel like women have autonomy, and they don't feel like women should be able to choose what they do with their bodies. That is not a black thing. That is a man thing. Men feeling like they need to be in control, and especially a YT man thing. They need to control women, and what women do is the issue. It's not a black woman, black man thing. It's a man thing.
And what is the government's goal in taking away women's bodily autonomy? And I'm telling you right now, their main target of interest is not black women. If the government wanted black women to have children, we'd have much lower maternal and infant mortality rates that we do. If you look at the statistical trends, black women have been having less and less children as the years have gone by because we know the consequences of being pregnant in America. This is a white woman fight. They want y'all to have kids. I completely disagree with the narrative of sort of demonizing black men. Like, yes, there is a prevailing issue of misogyny within the black community that we have to address, of course, but we can't afford to be divided.
Anybody who studies history will see that we have never been united as a people. I don't care what y'all say about the Black Panthers. I don't care what y'all say. I know the truth about the Black Panthers. The black men that were in the Black Panthers were bringing other groups of women in and sleeping with them. The black women did all of the work behind Black Panthers. The black women did. Study that history. Martin Luther King, he was not a leader. He was not trying to bring black people together. He was trying to integrate us so that black men would have access to white women, so they would have the same opportunity to be with white women. And in all actuality, study this, look it up on your own. Martin Luther King, he was in love with a white lunch lady. I don't know what her name is. I forgot her name. When he married Coretta, he did not want to be with Coretta. He was in love with a white lady, and they thought it would be bad for his image. So he was forced to be with Coretta because she was black, and they had to fight for black people's rights, or so they weren't fighting for our rights. He was just fighting because he wanted to be able to be with his white woman legally. So black women and black men have never been united. Black men actually sold black women into slavery. That you can look that up too. That is a fact. But let's finish up her video.
A united front. So white women, y'all spearhead that campaign, for real. Like, power to you. I'm supporting from the sidelines, of course, but we have to think critically before we decide that we're gonna hitch our ride to a movement and not understand the implications of that movement.
4B, 4B, 4B movement. Yo, I don't know. It could just me. I could be bugging y'all, but this 4B movement is just another level of division. If you a black woman, a black man, we need each other. We need each other. I'm not talking about the bad seeds. Yes, I know you had some poor experiences. Yes, I know, he cheated. Yes, I know she cheated on you, bro. She messed around with this dude, that dude, da-da-da-da. We still need each other. We be focusing on things that don't matter in real life. And I hate seeing it. And it's an unpopular opinion. I'm not saying that cheating is cool and that it's okay. I'm not saying that you don't get hurt by it. But I'm saying when it comes to the things that matter in real life, we be destroying our own family structures and we be destroying each other over stuff that in a few years really don't matter. We be losing out on really great people over things that really, really don't matter. And that's just my take on it. I do what y'all want with that information, but we need each other and we need to be finding more ways to draw closer to each other instead of further away from each other. So stop looking for a reason to destroy your relationship. Stop looking for reasons to not say hi to your neighbor. Stop looking for reasons to not smile at another black person when you see them walking by, or just say hi or say what's up or say, have a blessed day or something like that. Like, we need to look for reasons to be coming together and not tearing each other apart. Stay away from this 4B movement crap.
What you'll notice with everybody that says we need each other, they can't tell you why. I still haven't heard a legitimate reason to why black women and men need each other. I can't even think of a legitimate reason why white women need white men. In any other race of women, I can't think of a reason why we need men. If you notice, men are making up reasons for women to need them. They're changing laws trying to force women to need them. Like the no-fault divorce. They're trying to take women out of school to make them less educated, so women will be forced to need them like 100 years ago, 70 years ago, 60 years ago. They're trying to make up reasons that women need them. And actually, stats show that women are in the most danger when they are in the home with a man. Most of the time when women are getting taken off of the face of this planet, it's because of a man that she knew, her brother, her dad, a boyfriend, somebody that she rejected and didn't want to be with. So nobody is able to tell me, why do we need men? It's so many women that are complaining about the men in their homes not helping them. They're overwhelmed and stressed with work and kids and just day-to-day life. Nobody can say why we need each other, but they're going to keep saying we need each other. No, men need women. The way the patriarchy was set up, it was set up for them to be served by women. Women do all of the heavy lifting. And they'll say, you need a man to work. No, women are working. We have to work now. We can't survive if we don't work. Even most of us are married and working. So no, we can live with another woman and do that. We don't need sex. The women that do want sex, they're not going to join. Nobody's worried about them. They can go out there and risk their lives or do what they want to do trying to get it. But nobody in the 4B is worried about sex. So can any of y'all get down in the comments and tell me, why do women need men? I could think of a lot of reasons that men need women. A lot of them don't know how to do anything because of women. Women have never felt the need to teach them to do things as they were growing up because we were in a patriarchy. So women felt the need to teach their girls to do everything, cook, clean, whatnot. But women didn't feel the need to teach their boys how to do that. So they really need us. like once again, women are making them go to the hospital, go to the doctor when something is wrong. A lot of them are not going to make themselves go. They need us. They need sex. So they say, I guess they'll die without sex. That's what I'm hearing. Women don't die without sex. Some of y'all think y'all will, but I guarantee you, you won't die. You'll die without air, without food, without water. I don't recall anybody saying that women will just shrivel up and die without sex. I promise you.
Remember Chirac, all the women got together and they stopped having sex with their men. It wasn't single women that wasn't having sex. It was married women, girlfriends, it was sex workers, prostitutes, honey. Everybody got together and they stopped having sex with the men to end the gang violence, and it worked. Here's the thing about the 4B movement. I get it. I understand it. But this cannot be an attack against all men. It should only be certain men, because there are some men that deserve access to you.
Pay attention now. Pay attention to women like this. Anybody who says that somebody deserves access to you is not for you. Dangerous.
Woo, I know. Power is really in pulling your power back from certain men and sharing it with those more deserving, those who value your contributions as a woman, those who value the fact that you're intuitive, that you're empathic, those who want to see you in a position of power, those who are turned on by you being in your power. So if the 4B movement is going to work, it needs to be that you pull your power back from certain men and sharing it with those more deserving, putting them in positions of power as well as yourself.
The 4B movement is just the saddest movement ever to me. And I understand that there's a lot of people who are really getting behind this. And that is basically no babies, no dating, no sex, no kids. I get it. You are tired. But when you are tired, what do? You take a nap, you go to sleep, and hopefully when you wake up, you see the world differently. To me, the 4B movement is just another way of saying, like, I'm jaded, and so I've just given up because I'm jaded. And it's also another way of being like, sadly, I've made really bad dating decisions, and so now I'm going to let that determine my future. Because a lot of the women that I know who are joining 4B, when I really talk to them, they want a family, they want kids, they want a husband, they want all these things, but they've just completely given up because they're too jaded. And how sad is that? You're letting the enemy win. You're letting the oppressor win. I'm in a relationship right now with like an amazing man. I'm like, it's shocking how amazing he is. And guess what? Before this, I met another amazing guy before he moved to another state. They exist. They're totally out there. But until I completely took responsibility for my behavior in my past relationships, including how I was kind of down and broken enough to get into a domestic violence and, abusive relationship, there was no way that I was going to meet guys like this. And even the first amazing guy that I met, I still wasn't in the right mindset. And I did not do that well in that relationship. So there was a lot of work I had to do on myself. If you are truly asexual, or you want to be asexual, that is your goal. You want to be a nun, whatever. You want to be celibate. You want to wait till marriage. I totally get that. I totally support that. But having bad dating situations, meeting bad guys on Bumble and Tinder and these other apps, I really hope is not just completely discouraging you from having relationships with men in the future, because that is sad.
Yesterday was Can We Talk About It Tuesday on my podcast, The Cindy Noir Show. And if you haven't tuned in, you're missing out, honestly. Because yesterday we talked about decentering men, and I gave my input on whether or not I think a 4B movement could work successfully here in America. And one of the things that I discussed on my episode was that I don't think we need to create a movement or call it anything right now. We just need to let things naturally play out. Meaning, we don't need to start any kind of movement. We don't need to call it nothing. We don't need to make anything of it. We just need for things to continue to happen as they're happening and let the show begin for real. Because let's be so Negro spiritually for real. By the time Trumpelstiltskins gets in office and everything happens and Congress becomes Republican owned and all that stuff, birth control, abortions, they're already, but they're going to be double by the time they finish what they want to do. And I just don't think that we need to invite women to do the movement. We just need for women to respond to what's happening in our government. Because between our government and the rising increase of incel men who cannot put the red pill content down, I just think we need to sit back and enjoy the show, honestly. And speaking of enjoying shows, tune into mine so you can enjoy mine too. Thank you.
I agree with Cindy. I do think there will be a natural separation, and I think it's going to get ugly before it starts to look better. That's why I'm always telling women to arm themselves, because the more we separate ourselves, the less protections we are going to have, especially with Republican men being in office. We all know that they don't like women at all. So the more that they see these movements online, the more that they see us talking, they're going to censor. They're going to want to take women and girls out of school, make it harder for them to get in school, because they've already said in front of the world that they don't think women should be going to school. They don't think women should vote. They think women should be in the house with their husband, and they're actively trying to make laws to make this happen. So I think it's about to get really ugly, but I do think it's the laws that they are making is going to further cause the divide. It's going to further make women want to fight even more. Like, when you oppress people, you can't just expect for them to just sit there and do nothing, unless they're like, y'all know, that one group of men that allowed that to happen. But yeah, them, unless you're them. But Black women have always been known to fight back throughout history. Like, so yeah, I just want to say that I am proud of all of the women who decided to be 4B. Even before they even knew what it was, they were already 4B. They weren't messing with men. They weren't having kids. They weren't dating, having sex, dealing with men before they even heard of 4B. I'm proud of y'all. Stay strong. Get your vibrators. Some of y'all have girlfriends. Like, y'all just... And I'm glad that it's not being talked about as much. I'm really, really glad. Just stay safe out there. Try to get with like-minded women. Nobody's going to understand why you're in 4B. It's going to be women out there trying to convince you that you need to get out there and keep looking. I don't know why they're so invested in trying to get you to keep looking for somebody. Like, just live your life, ladies. Get down in the comments and let me know if you're in 4B. Like, if you're in 4B, or if you know anybody that's in 4B, and do you think that it's going to spread? What do you think about it? Let's talk about it down in the comments, and I will talk to you ladies later. Bye.